Yeah, I just woke up and I don't have these crazy filters over here on YouTube in order to make me just look like my makeup's on. So it's 912 right now, which is 111, which also means we're on plan. And this is when I wake up. I know I'm gonna be. When we're sleeping, especially those of us who have been, they're calling us. What are they calling us? The collective is calling us. I forgot. They're calling us ancient time travelers something on TikTok. The readers are picking us up, especially the Schumann readers, the ones who are tracking the Schumann residents. I've noticed, because what they've been watching and seeing is the Schumann timeline shifts and the dragon energy that's coming in, and they're watching the sacral shifts. And so, God, I look awful. They're watching these. They're watching the shifts, and they're calling us ancient time travelers. They're knowing that there's a group of us that has been catching these timelines and weaving them. They've been talking about it for a couple of months now, is when they started seeing us and identifying our group in the collective. And they call us like, I want to keep saying, like a coalition of ancient time travelers that basically is getting they know is getting thrown the pass and is doing something with weaving time. And the more that we come out of this, and the more that connect, because what we pulled off in this is so freaking massive. As the new planets and everything is lining up, cleared, we're seeing, I'm seeing at least, and those of you that were involved, I'm sure, with the astronomy from a planetary system, and the astronomy or astrology of tracking it, I'm seeing the planets line up like a puzzle piece, because basically that's what we've been doing. The whole thing is like a giant puzzle. And I'm talking about the earth from the core through the layers of what you'd call atmosphere, that are tied into the layers that you'd call sedated atmosphere, which are the layers that produce land, water, rock, air, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, space. It's a giant puzzle. When you change the core to where the human is, because the planets only exist and the stars only exist because the human exists. And in a 1,000,000-year reset, the whole structure is up for change. The change agent comes from the core of what you'd consider Earth. Thing is, Earth isn't on your astrology chart. We don't track Earth. We track all the other planets, but there's no Earth on any astronomy chart, because in a lot of ways you're Earth, we're Earth. So since Venus, it's like we're bringing in Earth for the first time out of after death. Since Venus is the oversoul of Earth, and Neptune is the oversoul of Venus, in a lot of ways, what I'm starting to see, because the sun is right here, then you have Mars, then you have Venus. Now this is I don't know if this is Centauri or M2 sun, but this is how it was lined up inside the simulation for ascension, because and this thing goes on and on. Spica's under here, which is the moon, Pluto, and Saturn, work together in the highest Spica energy, but literally the moon, Pluto, and Saturn, which like this is your brain, and then Antares is under here. It mirrors it, and then Terra is right here, and Earth is right here. Uranus is right here. Uranus is literally in between a Spica and an Antares current, managing which way it goes. It's like Uranus opens up and goes, okay, flow to the right. Okay, flow to the left. All right, time to switch. Flow to the right. That's what Uranus does. Right here in the middle of Spica, which is the highest flow alignment that you could get down here in a bubble. But it's also the closest link to what you'd call death and death consciousness, which is DC. Wow. Because I've never heard anybody call anything death consciousness. That just came in. Now, Vega is right here. And it's in between. No, I'm sorry. It's right here. It goes right here. It's in between Mars and Venus, because Venus makes everything, and Venus makes a bubble for everything to become real. Venus is very important. If you don't have Venus, then you're not making any, then nothing's becoming real, because there isn't, because Venus basically puts out a frequency for everybody to live inside of a bubble and then things to become real. In the technology simulation, Venus basically went into a computer and everything had to be 3D printed. You needed the computer, you needed the fast computer, you needed the $1,000 phone, you needed 3D modeling equipment. Like you in the simulation, when Venus was pulled out of the whole thing, which it was. Venus was completely taken out of the solar system. Venus was completely held in a box. Venus was bound up. Venus had everything was blamed on Venus. Everybody blamed Lilith. Everybody cut Mary out of the book. Everybody denied. I mean, and this is the human race in a paternal order. Everything was put on Venus. It was Venus's fault. You're going to do a whole bunch of black magic. You're going to use Venus, and then that's what's going to happen. And then because Venus made it happen, because you put a whole bunch of black magic in it on Venus, then you're going to blame Venus. I mean, it's basically been the story down here. 2017, I mean, we've walked the whole thing as a feminine collective. From 2017 to 2018, we were having to basically dust the dirt off of us. Then in 2018, 2019, that's when the tribunal started. Literally. Libra season 2019. or it might have even been 2018, is when I was getting called like into etheric court every day for like 3 days at different times for different beings. And it was all, is Venus going to be able to get out? Can Venus hold everything without all the other planets? Can Venus do this? Is Venus done? It's all been a test on Venus and getting Venus free and cleared, because Maldek was right here. Now, this is also why I think they're saying Mal. There's Marlboro. They want to build a wall. This is all about Al. I mean, this even basically became L in a way. Maldek, it kind of became L. And L actually became a thing. The whole thing was Superman coming from L and the galactic beings from L, and that whole Superman story about the weird little skull and bones skull that they had up there, and then they were making all of those babies from inside that machine based on the human skull that was from Earth, and then all the people from L trying to get back down to Earth because their planets are blowing up, and that all ended up happening in the Venus transit cycles that have taken place. I haven't looked up the years on this because I just woke up and I wanted to get this out as quick as possible. So, and I haven't really got into the math of it all as far as all of the Venus transits, the star transits, because Venus will flip. Venus has been on transit, and so this would be a Venus transit of the wheel. And it's going to hit certain star points over a period of time, and then what happens? The whole thing flips. Then you've got 5 other points that it's going to flip. Then the whole thing flipped, right? Oh, I messed up. See, I mean, it gets all blah, and see Venus flipping and with the collective and walking all of these time counts is the knowledge that the divine feminine has. That's where all my knowledge comes from, and that's where all your knowledge comes from in certain areas. When you clean your divine feminine energy, or if you are a divine feminine, or you walked this with us, I don't care if you're male or female, what your recessive codes, your recessive genes that we've activated is all of the information that happened as this was flipping around, being hinged, flipping around, being hinged, flipping around, being hinged. All of that basically went into a backup system within, you can call it the Great Mother. It all went into a backup system, and basically that knowledge from 500 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, whatever, that all the events that happened as each of these nodes, each of these star points, as it was hinged upside down or hinged on its side or hinged to the left or whatever, all that knowledge of what happened with humans in that time count is what we've been channeling, and how even we got out of all the black magic together in this wheel. Why? Because it was all formed by black magic. This whole thing has been about, and why I've been mad for the past year is because it's like, I knew we proved it. I knew we proved it. And there's nothing like, I knew we proved it. We went in, we changed the tech, we even upgraded the tech, everything else. Now I'm always ahead. I've always been ahead. And so right now what I'm starting to realize is how far ahead we were as far as waiting for everything that we'd done to hit the masses. And so what I'm starting to really see is that everything that we did, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example right now, because this could basically also be Texas. It's the Lone Star, right? Texas is the Lone Star. How many stars are on Texas? One. Why is Texas so important? Because it's the hinge to the entire United States, because it's where all of it was, that's basically where Venus was put in a hole. You can think of it like that. It's like the Earth's belly button was Panama Canal. That was the Earth's belly button, basically. And Venus has been inside Texas this whole time. It's how everything else got built up in ley lines throughout it, because what? I mean, that's what the fight's always been about, Texas. The fight's always been about, first it was what? Spain and France and Mexico, and because Texas was Mexico. Then we had a war. Then it reported that, and this is Christopher Columbus stuff, because I don't know about y'all, but I know for sure I am, because I had to walk through it. But did you know Christopher Columbus's last name was really Banks? Did you know that? Christopher Columbus's last name was really Banks in one of these in one of these weird dimensions. And did you know that Christopher Columbus, see, he's an explorer. Kind of like how we are in dimensions, but he was exploring land. It's basically the same thing we've been doing as pioneers over here, exploring in space, basically. They put him in jail. So the Vatican, whenever the church took over everything, the Roman Church, then they basically put him in jail and said, you can't go explore anymore. And the whole reason was because he was getting too powerful. They weren't exploring. CC was. He was exploring. He was meeting all the people. He was going into the different villages. They knew him, kind of like me running around the United States and meeting thousands of people and telling them about Cohu 32 and telling them about my name and who there's thousands and thousands of people that I met on my journey from 2017 to 2022, for instance, that are kind of looking for me. It's like they met me. I told them what all we were going to do. We're going to have this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. This is what's coming, right? And they have like an image of my face in their head, and it's like they're kind of watching the media or watching. They're waiting. It's like they're waiting to see if I pop up anywhere to validate what I told them. But they see my face because they don't know my crew. They met me. It's like that. So Christopher Columbus, CC, he became so powerful that they needed to take him out of the game. So they put him in jail, and they left him in there for a long time, because why? He wouldn't hand over all of his treasures. They were like, you work for the Roman Church and you've been doing all this and it's ours. So everything that you have belongs to us. Well, he didn't like that very much. So what they did is they put him in jail. Well, I've been in jail. Venus has been in jail. Your divine feminine was definitely put in jail. In a dungeon. Not even jail, in a dungeon, in a dark hole. Then they came at one point and said, after he'd been in there a while, you know, oh, well, how about we'll let you go explore again, except everything that you find is ours. So at this point, he's like, fuck it. I mean, I've been in this jail so long. I just want out. So that's what he does. So he gets out, and then he goes and starts it. Well, then all that was supposedly going to the Vatican Church. Okay, well, in the middle of this, in this ascension, when Venus is putting back all the pieces together, and we're putting back all the lines together and all that shit, we don't read contracts, especially if they're like, that contract don't mean shit, right? So basically what, and this is just an example, it's a small example of how it affects everything in your life. When we're coming through the Ascension Gate and we hit Texas, and now Texas is up for review, it's not going to go to Spain, because we've already proven from way further out that Spain shouldn't be in charge, what they were doing to keep them in charge, what they were doing to make the queen, what they were doing to the people like bees, literally. Because at that point in time, they were running us all like insects, bees. It's where the bee line came from. They weren't, they were basically cooking us to work like insects. It wasn't until later that they went to deer, chicken, and pig. And that's literally the flow of it. Okay? We had already proven that to be an illegal move. So basically, the church isn't going to be the holder. So then it's going to go back to Venus. And then whatever lines were involved with exploration, well, then that's only proven by you picking up that information and basically doing something with it at some point. Or working in a team to. Because not all of us could go out and drive it. So some of you might be doing all the research and looking it up and remembering the story, and then that's getting to the grid worker, and then the grid worker's going and just driving it and doesn't even realize why, you see. But as a collective unit, that's how we were getting back our land, our property, everything. Because the way that it was being done was all black magic. Now, the skull and bones deal that was made, the covenant and the accord that was made with Venus, literally, there, because you have to remember, a lot of people know who we are. It's not that they don't know who we are. It's that they don't want us to be in power, because then we hold too much power. Well, you know why it ended up in the end that we hold so much power? To overrule them, because it used to not be that way, right? The whole planetary system would work in unison. It's how it always worked. I mean, basically, us ancients became planets. And then that's how the G core hooks into the earth, because basically, you know, all of your ancients all had a chosen one, if you want to call it that, of some sort, that was put into a planet to basically give everybody all your frequency to run in a unit to create the human body, because we had human bodies, everybody else was dead. So it's like a whole, we were all inside one group of beings that nobody knew about down here, that everybody forgot that there were literally life in all of your planets, which is why Venus had died and we had to turn her on, and she started making new energies, and all that started happening in 2009. The astronomers are all going, what's going on? What's going on, you dumb motherfuckers? Will someone please call me so I can tell you what's going on? so that you can stop thinking that that's all going on out there, so it's not affecting you down here, because it really blew up the world a couple of times because people don't know this shit. Now, the reason that Venus became in so much power is because of the Skull and Bones contract. In 1923, which came and went a few times, there hasn't only been one 1923. That's the problem. There hasn't only been one 1923. It's happened a few times because we were all asleep on ancestor blood, literally. We were all dosed on ancestor blood from basically from all the other planets, thinking that everybody's working together, not realizing that someone got taken out of the picture. Venus was on a Skull and Bones contract. That because Libra, Prince, Prints, bodies down here. It's how the whole wheel works. The body templates, they're in Venus. That's where Notice 1 is. I mean Libra, that's where Notice 1 is. Venus runs Libra, which is basically all of the energies coming in from the cosmos, from your ancestors, which now, by the way, have a shitload of stars too, because now the planets have now we've got stars that are all connected to human bodies, but we've got people, humans, coming out of the planetary system now. So the planets can't necessarily rule them because you're a planet, and other planets can't rule you if you're a planet. You have to work together. So as people are coming out of the planetary system, a solar ascension starts at the same time, because now you're dealing with stars. So basically, if you're in a planetary ascension, then you're in astrology. If you're in the whole, whenever you elevate from a planetary system, you're going to end up in a star situation, because now you've popped out of the planet. Now it's all the energy currents that are coming from every direction, because you're growing out most of the time to build a new planet. So now so if we're building the new planet, then we're not in planetary. The planets are only giving us speaker system information. The stars and the cosmos and the entire galaxy are what we're tuning into. That makes sense? Well, Skull and Bones, the contract, and it was a black magic contract, and the contract was on our line, and because they needed Eve. Remember? Who was Eve made from? Adam's rib. Gibraltar. Why did they make Eve from Adam? Because they didn't like Lilith's attitude? So if your original alpha female wasn't here, which, by the way, they knew where she was the whole time. If your original alpha female, which is Venus, that rules Taurus too, right? Because Venus is the oversoul of Earth. So if Venus is gridded down, well, we also knew that this is the template that they were coming for in end days. This the final standoff was the feminine template. They had already taken over the masculine. So if and we knew that it was going to get bad at the end. So I mean, there was a reason that Venus even agreed to this. FYI, this even goes back to H.P. Blavatsky and the weird little deal with India that we had to do, that we cut off yesterday or the day before and ordered it, because we've been having to make some big, massive commands over here to get these finishing things lined up in the macro. But the reason that Venus even agreed to have every single, so realize that what I'm telling you is that one family line, one woman, from one most ancient DNA that had been down here since the origin, connected into the beings that were the planets, that family, became the template for all women. Skull and bones. And the being was Venus. That is how Satanism and Luciferianism, all that shit, because all that's built up on Venus, but it's their version of the history. It's not it's only their version, because all the timelines and everything, it has to be run with Venus. Venus makes shit real. Venus tracks time. Venus makes time. Without Venus, there isn't any time. Literally. Because there's nothing to align. There's nothing to align humans. Now, the reason is because we had all of these transits that were over all these periods of time for 1 million years, because it's not, I mean, we had to ascend out of it as a human race. So I don't know, wherever these star points are hitting, it's basically getting cohue 32'd, because this is why I know this stuff. This is why all this came in. This is real shit. Because everywhere that these stars were coming and hitting, it's what the collective was having to learn lessons from and build. And this is even how Gaia ascends. This is how Earth ascends. But see, this time we're ascending the entire solar system because of how it was played. Because they weren't working with this. It was like, no, you get back in the planet and you do another 1 million years because nobody's ready yet. No, that's not how it works. The planets are ready, so now everybody else needs to get ready. We have the information now, not you. See, that's the only part that's flipped. So basically, what I saw is all of these Venus transits are what made the box. That's what made the cute. This is what made Mecca. This is why they dance around. I mean, and just so you know, Mecca, Dubai, Saudi, fuck you. Fuck you. You were very aware in this lineup that we were awake inside this box. You were very aware that all of us were underneath it, underneath the ocean. You were very aware that you trapped us there. You were very aware that you set us up. You were very aware of it. You were completely conscious of it. And anybody calling anybody master has to kneel to Venus. It was called in yesterday. Or they're going to be, what was it? Kennelled. In the etherics. In space. They're going to be kennelled. Anybody that's calling some man, especially a master right now, and has people calling him master right now, well, you need to kneel to Venus, and if you don't, you'll be kennelled. I just heard we have 52 kennelled. Because basically what was happening is over time, your dark force, whatever you want to call it, but it was just basically how the evolution worked, because these Venus transits, let's say when the Venus transit became upside down like that, okay, and all the data, they were tracking all the timelines, all the data, what energy was coming in, and the whole point of Skull and Bones and Venus being in there for Venus and for our collective was to get out. Their whole thing was to try to keep us in it, because it was doing a lot for them while we were in there that they didn't have to do. But it didn't start out like that. It only got that way towards end days because why? Because all of these were filled in. We had already completed it. We had completed the whole wheel. If you have a big old hole and the whole thing is to carve it out, and you've got to do it really slow, and you've got to master every single angle of the cylinder. You've got to master it, because we had to blow the wheel to get out. The wheel belongs to Venus. Is all set up on Venus. Venus is right here in the middle. This octagon that then they put up in DC, right? They put it up in DC because they wanted Venus basically holding up all of it from all this knowledge, and then you make it square in here, and it's just ping-ponging around. Venus is coming straight through like this. The energy is going straight through like a core. Okay? So what ended up happening in end days, and why this got so nuts, number one, we had to clean all of it. So it had to go back to the original skull and bones. Even before that, basically how the line was even formed to pick the one to become skull and bones. We walked it all back through. H.P. Blavatsky keeps coming up. And Blavatsky and Laveau, same being, two different dimensions. Don't fuck with us. Blavatsky and Laveau, same being, two dimensions. Same being, different upside down triangle. Two different timelines. Same being, flipped upside down, put into Louisiana, blah, 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 blah. Now use your gifts and powers down there. We'll throw you out to the stars now. See what you can come figure out and bring back to us down here. Oh, let's throw you in the swamp now. What can you make down there in the swamp? Let's throw you into Japan now. Let's throw you in a computer now. Let's see what you come back with. Literally. Because Venus makes everything real. But they didn't want to include Venus because they wanted Venus to run it all. Well, the black magic was luring us. Because this has already been complete. This was already done. Whenever they came in, whenever they did all this stuff and started this, and this is why I activated in 2017, because this was already done. This whole thing was completed. It was basically a full-on cylinder. We had the full-on thing. So what they've been doing for the past 4 to 5 years is trying to lean us this direction and get us into an area where they had more etheric, and that they could only do it by low frequency things, because we were full on high frequency. It was a full on white light. And pure source. So the only thing that they could do was try to basically build a magnet of some sort in order for us to magnetize towards specific anything. It could be a person, it could be a place, it could be whatever, because it was all trying to pull us into one of their little weeble wobble settings that was here when Venus was tied up. This is why they always needed to sacrifice 6 of us in the line. They always needed 6 white witches to pull off their little whatever. Well, they didn't get us this time. In fact, their 6 black witches are now on the star. They might not realize it yet. They're starting to. They're starting to realize it because I'm seeing it. Because basically they had done so much extra. Because this was ready to go a long time ago. Like a long time ago. They had done so much extra to hold it in, because the agreement was always with Skull and Bones. Okay, when Venus ascends it and figures it out, then she gets everything that's built up on her. So basically, the game In the very beginning, whenever they started doing Skull and Bones, and it wasn't this timeline, when they started doing, or not even this lifetime, when they started doing Skull and Bones a long time ago, they were a little bit more cautious of what they assigned and put on Venus because they weren't sure if it was going to work. Because basically, if they think about it, if they assign it to Venus and then Venus ascends it, because you're basically giving Venus more and more power, but then each time you're just locking her up. So in the very beginning, they were a little bit more cautious of what they hooked into Venus in the first couple of cycles because, oh shit, what if she wakes up? Then everything that we built is going to go down. Over time of them getting away with it, 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 they kept putting more on Venus to the point where the whole thing set up on Venus. The whole thing. This is how in this timeline, your C, all your tech, all your technology, every single framework, every single node, every single frequency that runs across technology is all connected into your body and into Venus. And it's all set up on Venus. Venus is running your tech, not Elon Muskville, not Gatesville. No, that was just them luring you into a garage on a weird Skull and Bones thing and doing a sacrifice to CERN or whatever in order, because that's what it was. It was like, okay, I'll sacrifice the body to CERN. Then Venus is going to get pulled in because whatever you sacrifice through there, because it all has to play out. And so then Venus goes through a CERN shredder. Well, now you got a big problem because now Venus is your air. Venus is everything, because it went through a hydrogen collider. Well, Venus is awake. So Mars, drop your pants and sit the fuck down. It's like that. It's just like that. And I ordered it last night. What I saw when I woke up this morning, which is why I'm on here looking like this, to tell y'all. What I saw was that, because nothing's square anymore. There is no more square. Everything is round. Everything is round. Because we cleared the whole cylinder. See, before in other timelines, we didn't have the whole wheel. When we looked up from down there, all we saw was what you're looking at, a screen. That's all we saw. We couldn't see the whole thing. Now this is where they'd be hiding. Because everything about the feminine is the negative space and the flow. Has nothing to do with the lines. Well, these are your factions. It's also the 4 zeta points. Because basically Zeta Reticuli came in from outside, and then as they kept digging closer and closer, they got inside the wheel, but in order to get into the wheel, they just set up it was Pisces to Leo. Hold on, let me look, because I haven't looked at this in a while, because I took the word zeta out. Well, you could bait, yeah. because they were coming in from way out here. They were coming in from way out here. The main setting is going to be on your cardinal, on your cardinal DNA, which was originally what the Skull and Bones Venus was, because the whole thing was set to line up on her. So it was a cardinal point. Well, Zetas came in, and see, and normally we've got our, there's Pisces 3 degrees, here's Virgo 3 degrees, here's Aldebaran, and here's Antares. So the archangel for the wheel is like that. Well, they came in over here from deep space like this, and then hooked in with this to basically open this up to get into this layer. And I'm even, this is your eyeball. This literally is also your eyeball. Because that's what they were doing, was carving into the body. Now remember, Venus was in here, in the box. Well, depending on what your Akashic library is set to, because we're the time capsules, so depending on what upside down star, sideways star cycle that, or all of them, or an infrastructure of all of them under one knowledge base. See, there's many ways that, and all of this knowledge is in your system. It's just what's going to activate. Because I don't know, are you going to come from the cardinal position because you've got the original settings, or were you awake whenever they infiltrated us? See, this is where it really starts making a difference on where your energies are, because wherever they are, that's why whenever I look at a wheel and I look at your charts, I don't even have all the zodiac signs. People ask me all the time, oh, well, my son's in da 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 da. What is that? What sign am I? I don't know. Like, if it's blatant, I'll know. I don't even know. It's not how I read it. When I look at your chart, what I'm looking at is a time capsule. What I see is all these in between, upside down, da 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 da, and that's where this knowledge comes from, because it's why, if you have number 1 Aries, then, and you have Alpha Draconic Notice 2, you're a time traveler. Well, the only reason that happened is because they kept trying to widen this circle. So since we ascended the whole thing, and then they had us in a little box, what they were doing was making everything bigger. They were trying to make the hydrogen, all the centimeters in the hydrogen colliders got bigger. Everything got bigger. They were trying to make that bigger and bigger and bigger, and basically blow up, and they blew a hole into all seams of time by doing it. But at the same time, what was happening is we were going in a circle. We weren't going dink, 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 dink. All of your Egyptian tombs, like and after death, how they're lined up and how you walk out of there. I've had to walk out of many of them on land, and I know that's what I'm doing. You got to go here, turn left. There's only one that turns right, I think, or it might be backwards. Exactly. But see, that only depends on which way the star's upside down when you resurrect. When you resurrect, it could be that you need to come from the left or you come from the right. Well, that's all dependent on... So it's like certain ones of the tombs and the ones that are laid to go the opposite direction. It's because that's the end. It's laid in the opposite direction because now we're gonna go a different direction. We ain't gonna go the same way. We've been letting you do that. We got all the information. We got all the data. We ascended the human brain. We opened up your fucking little whirlpool bullshit. And Venus owns everything. You did it. It's your rules. You're just mad now because for the first time in history, you can't run the world off a bunch of girls' heads. You got to work with this. Now you've got to ascend the wheel. We've ascended the wheel. We learned our lesson. There's a reason we got put in there to begin with. There's a reason we ended up in the wheel to begin with. It's not like we were just the easiest going person in the whole world. It's not like we were telling everybody our hidden secrets like we are now. It's not like, evidently, we's hard to deal with. Well, when you have this much power and you get so tired of everybody's shit, then you kind of got to master your high priestess. You got to master patience. You've got to well, guess what, Mars? Do you know how we did that? You put us in a weird ass box. We learned our lesson. So guess where you're going? In a weird ass box. So you'll learn your lesson. Basically. Thing is, it's not, I mean, and this is Mars for all of us. You know, this is our Mars for all of us. Remember in the beginning of this, I showed you that in order, so basically if this box is Mars, then right above it is Venus. Well, that's this. And then right above that is the sun. Okay, which would let's just say it's right here. If this is a big ass orb, then right here I'm touching the bubble. I'm touching this bubble this is made, and the sun's right here. So basically, what has to happen is that the Mars now needs to be balanced in with Venus. Because now Venus is holding the bigger orb. Mars is just sending signals. Why is it not working? Why can't I change her? Why can't I change her DNA from a telegram? We sent 20,000 freaking spam emails into Cohu 32. I did it, Demon Lord. I sent her all those sex things and pornography and all that shit. They've been doing it. I don't know why it's not working. We're running a filter underneath her videos, and she's only getting 9 or 10 people watching her, but how is she changing everything? I don't know. What else can we do? Absolutely fucking nothing is what you can do. Because every time you do, FYI, Mars, FYI, it's ping-ponging back like this. And all it's doing in your little box is making it smaller. All you're doing is cramming yourself up in there more and more and more and more and more. And then every time you do, we're going wider and wider and wider. It's what you wanted. You wanted us to go bigger. Well, we're going bigger, but you're going smaller. Or do you want to show up now and be like, Venus, good play. All right, Venus. I mean, Mars, what are you upset about? I mean, you ran the world on this and got one over on us for a really long time. Like, I don't know why are your panties all in a wad? At the same time, you've been trying to manufacture a perfect woman for you that isn't ignorant, that's not stupid, that knows everything that you do, because all the other women that you made from this, you don't like. You did all this to make a divine woman. This is also why so many in Hollywood are really men. Well, this is why. Because basically the man would take the place of Venus's resurrection, because they would turn her into some Luciferian bullshit. Now we've got, then it was Bible phonetics, then it was Quran phonetics, then it was China changing the Bible, then it was Jesus Lord, all of it, all of it, all of it. It was all set up to keep Venus in the box, so that Venus couldn't get out. Well then, but then everybody's expecting a Venus to get out. So then who's going to be Venus? And that's what they were doing. That they were assigning these characters, because we still in the box. Then everybody else in halfway, a half-ass thought the energy was here. The teachings weren't coming, but the energy was here. That's why people were falling for the cons, because the energy was here for the act, but the actors, they were actors. They weren't the real. That's because we were still in the box. Somebody was playing our part. This is also why I say I come in with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's gonna be 5 of us. There's gonna be one running all of it, but nobody's gonna know who the dragon is. Sound familiar? No one's gonna know. There's gonna be 5 of us that show up, but no, they're not gonna know which one of us is the main one. And then most likely they're gonna take out all other 4 before they figure out who the main one is, because the only way that you can make it out alive is you're the main one. Now, what's super interesting about this, because remember, we're going to be learning, we're going to be talking about for millions of years. Like this is gonna go and take so many different forms in all of your teachings. It's gonna form other base roots of because this is basically multidimensional psychology. At this point, I'm a neurophysicist. A neurophysicist deals with energetic wavelengths and how they hit the brain. Because over time, what happened was Venus started out being a whole girl. Then as we ascend up, we go through another transit, oh shit, they fucked us over. Now we're doing the whole thing again. Strap in, ladies. We got a whole nother freaking click, which is 1,000,000 years to go around the wheel. We had already, the brain is the reason it was being done. The brain makes the body, not the other way around. The neurons and all the little squiggly marks that you have in your brain are from Venus going upside down, lazy, next door, whatever, being held down in all those transits for 72 million years. So we've been around 72 clicks. FYI. We've done this 72 times now. Had a 1,000,000-year count set up. That's why we were ascending in 1972. That's why it was the ascension, and the ascended masters came in 1972 to ascend everybody in 2023. It's why they put me in the chamber. They knew, and I knew, that I had to go in because I was a big brain on Brad, basically. But nobody else knew. That's why they also knew that if we pile everything up on Venus, then they'll just think they're all crazy. And then it's a bunch of women that just go to a crazy farm. But we all know, we really did pile it all up on Venus. That's why we did it. Because then Venus is going to look like a nutcase whenever she comes out and tells everybody what all's connected to her. No one will believe her. And then we can just go back to doing our little voodoo, our little ritual, sacrifice, whatever. And then we can rule the world. Kind of not set up for you to do that. It's a learning area down here. So Mars, what you did is trap yourself into your own bullshit for an extra long time. Now, luckily, Venus pulled out. Because when you're ascended, you're pulling out of the whole thing, and your planets are all working together for you. But now Venus, for the first time, is going to be involved. It hadn't been. This is why. The last 7 years has been getting us out of there. And all of this is lining up with Venus on 5 degrees of Capricorn. So last night and that's LYRA 1, and that's the first root races. And so basically over time, the harp of LYRA was built into these energetic sequences that aligned with your Venus transit. And that was it upside down? Was it on its side? Whatever humans were alive and printed, and what their DNA was whenever the star was this way, that way, blah 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 blah, set up a string in a harp system out there, and the energy, and it's literally like a machine. It stops right here, and all the energy is going to flow. So then everybody that's born throughout that time count is going to be connected into you. Then we have an evolutionary shift, whether or not the humans realize it or not. Everything's resettled. All these black magicians, Skull and Bones, are doing their weird ass shit, connecting everybody, because all they're trying to do is tie down the star in some weird ass whatever that they think that they can control it. That's all they're trying to do. They don't care about anything else. Well, Venus only cares about putting back together the health in the human body. And Venus only cares about the humans. Venus only cares about life. Venus doesn't give a shit about death. That's all the other side, trying to run it off death. And I knew that we blew the LYRA harp because we had to. It's too close. It's too close in the Milky Way for all of us to come up in our ascended bodies. Even for the field to sustain 200 of us that are cosmically connected. Even if there's only 200 in the world right now, LYRA had to blow. And that's what we've been recreating down here. This is putting back the DNA. This is why the transits were there. This is why we listen to our intuition. It's why we had to freaking yell at some of our friends and family because y'all were doing weird ass shit that y'all thought we were crazy. Well, we think you're nuts because we know that this square's got you somehow. The whole way that we got out of the black magic house was putting up circles in the corners. That's how we got out. And the weird Iranian windy chick that was setting it all up, she knew the minute I did it, even before I did, because it was so early in my journey. I just thought I was helping him do something. So I put all these metal hula hoops up in the corner of their weird ass Calabasas freaking alien cookhouse in 2021, January 2021. And then we went upstairs, and then I hear her running around, this old Iranian lady running, I call her Wendy, running around the corner going, "What did she do? I just felt the energy shift." And I was like, oh, Alexa, she's talking about me because I'm the one who just did something. See, this was very early before I understood my power. And so I just thought I was moving some circles around, but then that's what I did. I shifted. Saturn is not a square no more. It's round. Everything's round. There is no squares. There's no square root of 2 to hold a square. Everything's round, or it's not. All your elementals and all your science tables, they blew up a long time ago. There is no more Metatron. If you're calling in Metatron, you're calling the box. Realize Metatron is Venus, is your divine feminine. It's not a dude. That's the lie. Metatron ain't a dude. Archangel Michael ain't a man. It's a woman. Who else is going to be able to protect you inside here? If you're calling Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael lives right here on the wheel. Way up here. And his only connection is way down here. If you're calling Archangel Michael, and that's in Gemini. See, he's the lowest one. That's what they's always trying to get this square over here. They wanted that square over here. So then we can line up everything around Gemini again. And that's how Gemini now has 5 rays. Because evidently we were in Gemini 5 million years. We were in Polaris. The whole orb. Earth was like this. Stuck over here like a freaking zit. It wasn't in the middle. Archangel Michael can get inside of a matrix grid system. That's why he was a protector in a grid system. But it's not a dude. It's a girl. Because we were the ones holding up the grid system. We're the ones who get all the messages out. Now, there might be a dude that comes to help you. But that dude is tuned into his feminine, which is why he's getting the message. Otherwise, if you're calling Michael entities the way Epstein set it up, and then a Saudi Arabia buys Epstein Island, and then in the future, see, what's happening right now is that we're seeing how the F all of us got in the wrong hands, because this is what happened. Even your Skull and Bones lost this. You're basically the men that were in your Skull and Bones and the men that were doing the black magic for this in the lines over and over. Your warlocks, your warlords. Every time they did it, they lost consciousness. Every time they pinned us in, they lost consciousness. Every time they pinned us in, they lost power. They gave it all to us. Then they thought that they would just pin us down to get our power. Well, since you did it so many times, you basically all got taken over. And not by Venus, by what you made Venus create out there by putting us in a ship and making us go 72 times around, creating all these different aliens. Well, you created them, so they're coming for you. They want your body. So what happened in days, and this is why I keep saying in days, because you can talk about what happened with masonry, you can talk about Skull and Bones, you can talk about all that till you're blue in your face. 5 degrees Capricorn. It all has to do with 5 degrees Capricorn. This was set up at 5 degrees Capricorn. I've been knowing that it's what the whole United States presidential thing, AB, which YouTube. So yesterday on TikTok, the only videos they've been blocking y'all on TikTok are the ones that are showing my brand. Literally. Yesterday, my video got blocked for telling them to come watch me on TikTok, because they blocked me on TikTok because I was telling y'all about the colors of the flags and how it lines up to this, and what energy you're getting from pledging to that flag. And boom, they cut me off for a week. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'll do a little TikTok to show that I'm over here. And then they blocked that. So I appeal that. Then all of a sudden, it looks like they came and looked through all my TikToks and then decided to take off the last one that I was telling you all about, the AB programming. Well, YouTube decided to do that. Community violations on YouTube, excuse me, what are you talking about? I've been on YouTube since 2017. I've been the one screaming about everything going on in this whole cycle. And now you're going to block me because YouTube is doing AB. I mean, YouTube is what they were doing, was tuning all y'all to AB settings. Literally. It's how literally. So then they decide now to come over from TikTok land, but it's the same thing. They're using the same tech. See what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden I have a community violation from YouTube because I'm telling you about the AB. Well, you shouldn't have tuned everybody to it. I wouldn't have to tell everybody to it if you didn't tune it to it under some Saudi contract. So what I was seeing, because I'm going to end it. I'm going to end. Ma, get in the box. How dare you use an ancient name? How dare you use an ancient name? You're trying to say that you're Ma. Well, do you know that Ma holds all the codes, the black magic codes, and you're not Ma? I know for a fact you're not Ma'at. And then you have the fucking, you're stupid enough to come over here right now and ask me if I smoke weed. No, you stupid bitch. Fuck. Bastard. But did you know that weed is actually in your original Bible, and it's the original seeds, and it's how the fuck we got all of our energy down here so you could smoke it? Same thing as your wheat. Did you know that your original ascended seeds are tuned to weed? Did you know that all of us made weed for you when we got down here? Did you know that all the pharmaceuticals and the drugs that y'all pretend to think that we're on because you're on them and you're so fucking stupid from it that you want to come over here and judge us because you didn't do your job because you didn't show up? Everybody that's using ancient names or any usernames with ancient names and then you want and you're speaking negatively to anybody, if you don't like what you're seeing, keep your fucking mouth shut and get the fuck out of here. I'm not coming to your channel. That's what us ascended don't do. We ain't gonna watch it. We aren't gonna send anything. And I'm not your bro. I tune everything that puts in your, everything Ma's putting into your body is sending you into that box until you show up and apologize to everybody that you treat like this. If you have the nerve and energetic to come and do it to me right now, you're ignorant in all ways. And I'm so over it. It's coming back to you. Everything you put in your body is putting you in that box. I don't give a shit. I said, we saved all of you. Get in the box. Get in the box. Mecca, Saudi, do your job. Venus is managing the construction this time. We'll make sure that you get in the middle of the planet. We'll make sure that you can see straight up with the ladders, but get in the fucking box. Shut the fuck up. Anybody, I mean, I'm just so over it. As far as I'm concerned, everybody that comes over and it says anything to us at this point literally should be unconscious for 1,000,000 years. That's your penalty. If you have no respect, just because you think that you don't know it, you think it doesn't exist, and then you think any of us that traveled the etherics for you because we were getting trapped in your box. By the way, we're only your brain power. We only make your bodies. We're only the technology that you love so much to send out your little stupid messages and hide. I bet you wouldn't say that shit to my face. So I command everybody come and say to your face what it is you say to them in the screen. And I command everybody in the world get told to their face, mirrored back to their face, all the comments that they've sent out to the Ascended for the past 7 years. Or any comment. Anybody said that we're crazy, anybody that's taken our children, because you realize that all you're doing is allowing for AI to take you up and lock you down if you're over here talking to us like that, right? Well, you deserve to be locked down in AI. I'll make sure you have a nice little corner cage in Walmart. I bet whenever you get in there, you'll think back to what I was talking about and get a way to get out. That's what times we're coming. We're done. We don't care. We tried to save you all. This is what we get for it. So go to your box. What I clearly saw today is that Venus is lining up all these little angles. This morning when I woke up, it was like that little box was in the middle of Venus, and I was seeing all these corner pieces and these orbs coming in this direction, and this one coming in this direction, and this one coming in this direction, and it's all basically forming new rings on Saturn. because it's no longer square. Saturn's sphere again. So basically Saturn is back in alignment per the human DNA, and the planets are going to start teaching you reality lessons again, not AI determining what to type in on you, or none of this stupid bullshit. Because there was a time when this little whatever the F you are, this little troll, because it's what you all are, you're trolls. You work for witches. You realize that, right? If you're one that gets on and then just goes and tells everybody, you're on drugs, you're stupid, you're working for a witch. In your consciousness. Wasn't even your idea to come over here. You were sent. I can guarantee it. Because of the time we're in right now. But there was a time where this little stuff could affect us. Now, it reverts on them. Everything's getting closer and closer and closer. Now, I saw the big bird step on Mars when it was in Scorpio at 27 degrees. It literally had to step on it. How the fuck was Mars floating above Scorpio to begin with? It didn't have Saturn. They had made Saturn a cube, and then basically they had, and then when they put me into cryo. In 1983, Venus and the Earth went into cryo and was running a playback of 72 million years, basically, until now. Let me say it again. From 1983 until 2023, your reality, Venus, Earth, Terra, had already finished everything. The human race had to finish it, and when and so Venus and the crew were put into cryo. Some of us on a ship, some of us down here, some of us both. If you were put into the cryo down here on Earth in your physical body, you definitely were somewhere else, at least one other place, getting put into cryo. Cryo runs a playback. Everybody was dead. All we've been doing down here is repeating old timelines running on a system since 1983 until now. And we did it. We cleared it. We ascended it. It's done. Now it's going to start lining up. And so all of that's lining up into Venus, and basically all your Saturn rings are these dudes. There's gonna be a frequency for all these little half moons that they've got to get themselves round. Just like we did. But it's why we can see through everything. Because if Mars knows it's a full circle, but then and Mars knows how he got, now Mars knows what he was doing to Venus, then that's what he did to himself. So Mars is now in the box, but Mars and even the male thought, and even your finance systems, and the way we were running things down here in 3D, and even technology, and the ones who claim to be so powerful in technology but don't want to take responsibility for what it did to the human race, and is refusing to see that everything that you build in 3D affects the human, especially technology, electricity, all these things that you just took as a given. Well, when the lights all go out and you can't charge your phone unless you're a circle instead of a square, I bet you all stop doing that stupid shit. I mean, but we're from the future. Like, we just came and reconnected your whole fucking cosmos and connected it all. I mean, Yahshua, Shiva, and all. Because at the end of the day, you have to realize it all works together. At the end of the day, you have to realize that all those deities came from a different time count. There was one deity that showed up in every single upside down star structure to teach that fucking race whatever it is that they need to learn. That's why Shiva and all that India shit, they got 6 arms. Well, they got 6 arms, but Christ is on a cross pinned down. I just described that. Your older ones that are coming from Arabia and all that, then that's older. So that's why it took more to do it. That's why I had Arxiad. The Ming stuff, all the technology stuff, that's just formed up the insects and the beeline. So and that was basically future generation. That's what they were trying to set up to come, because you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. Everything that's why we knew that we had to completely ascend the program and pull out our energetics to the whole entire solar system, because at this point, they had all set it up on C code, Venus. Which is why it's so crazy. So, Mars, it's up to you. Because what's going to happen now is that the human race is going to get big. This bubble is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this box is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as all of y'all pop out of the wheel and take position. Then this creates a whole new million-year count. And these guys evidently got to go way down there where Venus was for 72 million years in order to learn their lesson. In the meantime, Venus rules Mars in a higher code until Mars shows up to balance with Venus, because this is why everything's just blowing up and shit's going off the way it is, because we don't have Mars working with us. We don't know. We never ran Mars. We don't know how you did that crazy shit. All we know how to do is transmute it into something else. So we'll keep doing that. We'll keep transmuting it into something else, but it won't be something else that you have an infrastructure lined up to catch it in, like XLM or Nege, because no Sarah, no Nasara Gasara, no money, no architecture. Keep building your roads and your houses in little boxes. Your little world's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller as you go down. There's 2 worlds getting built here. Is what it is. We're done fucking with them. They think it's all a given. We thought it was all a given. Hydrogen, oxygen, freedom, life. We thought it was a right down here that we were supposed to have. It was. That's where we're going. That doesn't have it. If you're in there, you have no rights. None. And everything's owned by a corporation, because in their world, they're the ones who built it. All right. We had another plant blow up because of pressure. Don't listen to us. Don't bring us in. Don't partner with us. You knew exactly who was supposed to be president in this timeline. In the future, when you came and brought us and kidnapped us and pulled us back in here. Y'all know exactly who we are. So Just keep boxing yourself in, and we'll keep building something completely separate. And then the ones that you were boxing in, that you sent to us in order to fuck with us, the ones that fell in love with us, guess what? We had them write all their own intentions on every single move that you had to make with us. Especially our men. So Mars, the ones that you sent to me to mess with me and put me in your world industry box, they all made a pledge to free me. And it's what ended up happening. And now they can independently make the decision to come partner with Venus, but it looks like they're having to lose everything to do it. But so did we. We had to lose everything in order to fucking get it. So Mars, your woman's been trained in order to help you. If you can get on the right frequency to show up and not be a dick and freaking realize that you can't just take everything from us and put us in a box and then exit out a million years and then cry and get pissed off and say that we left you. You sold us out. You're the one who sold us out for your weird illusion. So how dare you blame us for leaving you? The love of my life just lost me. Where is she? I'm searching for her. No. No. You sold your soul. You sold out to keep the illusion working, and the whole world's falling apart. And you're only focused on your own shit. You don't care about anybody else. And so you're going to go down where you can concentrate on yourself. Now, see, Mercury just went over Mars too. Because this is the whole thing's getting retuned. So the good news is for everybody going into this is you have a year or so to get it. You do. I know you at least have a year. Well, you've got 7 months. 6 months. You have 6 months to get it. You have 6 months to get out of the box. Because if you're still boxed in June, you ain't gonna hit the opening. The opening's gonna start happening in August. You're gonna ascend in November up to different layers again. Everybody will move up or down again this November. So no matter where you are in the system, if you're at the furthest bottom or furthest top or stuck in the middle or whatever, you have 6 months. You have by June, you need to be at a frequency that's holding this circle so you can hit this circle. If you're still in a square, you're going to hit a square up here, and there ain't no three-legged dog running this time. That three-legged dog's going to lose their leg, and then it's going to fall. And then you're down here, and there ain't no way you can get up there. I don't know if we've got 1 year or 2 years. That all depends on Mars. That all depends on how much cooperation now we're going to have, because we got shit to do. We got to set up new systems that don't require money and electricity and DNA to run your shit. Mars, you're the one who's making us empire wielders. You did it. You did it. You did it by assigning it all to your feminine. Okay. Well, at least one of us won. I know with my twin, one of them, that I was dealing with in which you'd consider the lower frequencies. But I also know that he went in order to do a lot of this because it's how we knew what they were doing and how to get out of it, because we had a man inside. But in my world, he was doing it all to me, so it's been very confusing. Okay, this is for y'all too. It's been very, very confusing. Because in my world, there were two. One would be perceived to be more evil just by looking at him and by his actions and by what he was involved in. The higher entity one was actually way worse, but it's quiet and a lot harder to discern. mind manipulation versus straight in your face. I'd much rather have Jason chasing me with a freaking knife. I can get away from Jason in Texas with a knife chasing me. It's the weird motherfucker who takes over everybody's brains and wants to mess with my fucking mind and pretend he ain't even in the room and send in doppelgangers and that type shit that I can't handle. I can take out a Jason with a knife. That's the two different. That's the two different ones. With that twin, I made a deal. We made a deal early on. It was obvious we weren't going to agree. It was obvious that we weren't going to agree how to get out of this. It was obvious that the elders put us together in order to get everyone out of this. There were a lot of prophecies that were written in certain industries about me and this person. That's why this person ended up getting the power in the industry, because they all thought that he was going to make sure I was in the box. The whole time the elders knowing that, and him knowing at a deep level that I'm immortal and I'm connected in with all of y'all. So it's almost like as he was in the meetings and they were planning what they were going to do to Venus, it's like this particular being in the back of his head is going, oh shit, I can't wait to see how she gets out of this one. Because you can't beat us. It's our own code at this point. We're the ones who made all the little circles in the box. We know every single bit of this. And not just from Mars's perspective, outside in. No, we know it from inside out. And that's why everything went inside out. Venus got turned inside out. Mars got turned inside out. It happened at the same time. Then they made Arizona. Which is the bottom of the ocean, literally. In this world. Not in this one. All right. I think that's it. That's what I needed to come on and explain right now, as everything's still lining up and Mercury just is on top of Mars probably right now, or just went over it after this full moon this weekend. Everything, like, just stay to yourself. Just just get through this weekend. Just get through today and tomorrow. Observe. Do not engage. Observe, do not engage. And call in for all of your Venus transits, and call in for the ascended cosmos to align to you and line up the way it's supposed to for you. Make sure that you call that in. And my original deal with my twin was, okay, it looks like we're not gonna agree right now. And this was the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021. And our agreement was, okay, well then you do it your way, I'll do it my way. And it's a 50-50 deal. See, and the Brotherhood was all banking on this 50-50, which is why I need to explain this before I hang up. It's a 50-50 deal. So basically, if the woman ascends, then the man comes with her. And if the man ascends, then the woman comes with her. And it was all this 50-50 deal. Well, Brotherhood, all organizations, that deal's off. It's 100% at this point, because none of y'all connected any of the timelines. Literally. We sent out bridges on everything. We let you think that you were fucking us over. We even lost our money, $30,000 for a while. We knew that we were sending out bridges across this whole thing to get you out, and all you used them for was to try to pin us down here. So you literally didn't write any timelines to get out. You didn't write any connections into any of the financials. You didn't write any of the connections into the banks. You didn't write any connections into the land. You didn't write any of the connections into the government. You didn't allow any connections into your dictatorship. There's no fucking feminine connection into NATO except for a whole bunch of black magic voodoo. Like, you didn't finish it. None of it. You didn't connect any of it into the current infrastructure. You used your time to attack us. So until you come back in and try to straighten something up, we'll just keep doing it the way we're doing it and keep building it. And the further and further it gets away, it just is what it is. It is what it is. We can't make you do anything. I can make you. See, this is why I'm ascended. I can make you. I can mindfuck every single one of y'all. I could have a long time ago. I could have programmed every single one of y'all to fucking come to me and made you do it. I could have programmed my twins to make them come to me. But it would have been done on a lower level compel. And no, screw that. I'm not going to go in the box because I'm making you do some shit under free will. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid anymore. I fucking got it. I learned my lesson. So instead, what's happened is we've just been watching everybody who supposedly loves us so much completely sell us out and choose other people. 200,000 years. We'll wait. We've waited a really long time. We'll wait for the right frequency. I guarantee you it's coming. Anthony, you're Sarah Damaris's fake husband in the scroll. You were written to be a vampire connector to Sarah Damaris, which basically was a vampire. The original vampire was the original Skull and Bones. The name Anthony was always connected to Sarah Damaris as her husband, but Sarah Damaris was never alive. So this is the fake marriage that everybody was trying to write in contracts. This is why Saudi marries so many wives and da 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 da, all because of this one marriage that never happened, and then but was married in scroll so that they could replace you as somebody else. You're basically the masculine version of Sarah Damaris. You didn't by yourself cause COVID unless you have been calling Fauci and you've been networking with Michelle Obama and Epstein Island. You didn't cause it. COVID-19, we all caused it. We shut down the vector. COVID-19 isn't death. It's all this energy coming in. None of it's disease. They just called it COVID-19 because they want you to die from it. They don't want you to live. They want you to buy more pharmaceuticals. They want you to think that you're dying. They want you to think that it's poisoning you because you're getting upgrades. It is what it is. But it's why you feel the way you do. I'm just telling you. Go back through all your stories, because I remember when you originally contacted me and the woman that you need to connect her with who I am, and then everything that we started talking about back in 2022, 2021, when I was in Anaheim and we connected. And I pulled the vines out of your hair. I pulled the vines out because they were drawing pictures of you before you even came into the picture. And they had vines. Then they started drawing vines in all the men's hair because they were trying to catch. They knew that we had got out, so they were trying to put you in the box. Aunt Honey. See, honey was a key to twin codes. But your name is literally Aunt Honey. You're basically a masculine. You're kind of like a masculine version of me in that realm. In the Ben Yusuf line, in the Yahshua line. By marriage. So it's why you feel responsible, but I'm telling you that because you have the power to change it, just like I did. You just have to see it. You need to start making strong commands because it's LYRA 1 right now, and this is all mind shit. So you need to start making strong commands of what you will take and what you think you deserve. You've got your self-worth, because that's what they did to us. That's the mind fuckery. Until you firmly believe it, you can't hold the power. If you can't hold the power, somebody else is holding it for you. But you're the one who's allowing them to do it. Same as with us. Same with us. That's how it starts. So take that. I've said that to you a couple of times. Take that off yourself, but that is why you feel it. And all contracts and marriages and anything that's been done, any contracts you've signed, any digital contracts you've signed, any houses that you've sold, any marriages that have been done, sealed, any deals that have been written, any money that was paid for by anything hinged on something else to be delivered after 2017 is null. Actually, since a bunch of high-end corporations, any partnerships, mergers, all should be looked at since 2000. 2014 is where all technical alignments, any companies buying tech companies, any Disney and buying all their tech, and all the tech companies and creating monopoly conglomerates is all null and void since 2014, because they stole all the Apple data. We were in a simulation. They stole the data of the simulation. They basically stole the AB program and put it on the whole world. That's why we're bringing you Diamond. It wasn't fair. There's no way the whole world can make out of AB programming. It takes the entire human race to get one AB out of AB programming. How is the whole world and each individual tuned to an AB going to get you out? Exactly. It's what the cross and all that was set up for. It's why Jesus came here. It's why he died. All of it. All of it has been a story since the beginning of what you'd call human race and time, of any type of being, Anunnaki, all the way back. All the way. Anything that's ever been made in this bubble, it took 1,000,000 years to make it. All we did this time is not allow it to repeat. If you can't get out of it, then it's going to repeat. If you're trying to get out of it, you'll get out of it. If you're commanding to be let out of it and everything still keeps showing up, stop reacting to what's showing up and start writing it down. What's showing up for like the next week. Don't pay any attention to a day-to-day thing that shows up. Just write it down. Go back and read them all in a week. Then you'll see the map. Because they're trying to seal up everything right now. And it's not. Which is why I'm seeing it unseal. It's all happening live at the same time. Every time they go to seal a door, we get out the back. The maneuver can't happen for them to try to seal it until everything's lined up to seal it, but it won't seal. It's running off Venus. This is why also the dragon energy is coming into the Schumann resonance, and why you might feel winky, wonky, and dizzy, because this whole thing is moving to a... We were waiting on here. We weren't supposed to be. It's supposed to be up. The top of the wheel is supposed to be up here, not down here. The top of the wheel's down here. How'd that motherfucker go like that? How'd the wheel get in there? Well, I know. That ain't where it's supposed to be. Anthony, what I would start with is making commands on all of us feminines, like as our masculine. Like, I would, for like the next 7 days, Anthony, if you're still here, and this is for my masculines. All my masculines, I don't care what level you are on the game. All my masculines, if y'all can, for the next week, be the defender for the divine feminine. Be the defender for your sisters. Know that we got this. Protect us finishing it, and watch what happens. And I mean, I command an army, a legion around every single feminine that's finishing this for us. I command my feminine, get all of the information to get me out. Send a magnet to all my feminines. That's what I did last night. I dropped all of their layers and magnetized to my twin. I don't know who he is. I don't fucking care. Just where's your goddamn energy? And we got to fucking fix this. And this is how I woke up with all this information. Masculines, command that the feminines be protected to finish this. Command that you get all the information by doing it. It's a give and take. You don't get nothing for nothing. Protect us and just be the masculine to an ascended feminine, and realize that we've got all the answers. We've done it. You ain't got to do shit. You just need to support us. Be our defender for a week and watch what happens when it all connects. Because everything that you do for us, we're going to give back to you without even connecting with you, through knowledge, through magnetism, through connection, through whatever it is. Because now you're connected into the whole. Now you're the cog, because it takes three queens to make a king. That's where y'all don't get it. If y'all are in king carousels, that ain't where you want to be. You got to get to your queens to get out of your carousel, because only the queens have all 3 lines to get you out of your one. And the ones who do that will know. The ones who are supporting us and then they come back around will know. Energetically, as soon as you walk in the door, as soon as you make the phone call, we'll feel it. We'll feel the protection. Problem is, we've never had any men protecting us down here. We've only had them ever trying to put us in a box, and we're fucking over it. We've done what we can do. So, as far as if you're a man, then that's what needs to be done. Whenever we get on the same wavelength, then we're ready to sit down and be submissive and talk it out. Until then, sit down, shut the fuck up, and help us every way you can, because we rebuilt y'all. If it wasn't for us, there would be no more men down here. You'll understand this the more this starts happening. So we built a whole bunch of men that came back and freaking trapped us in a box. No thanks. We'll wait for the man that comes up here. The rest of them can go down here. We don't care anymore. And we definitely ain't going to heal everybody that comes in the United States on a foreign visa just because they're trying to take over the box. That's why everybody's coming in the United States and they're coming into Texas. They think that Venus is still in the box. No, it's not. They're fighting over nothing. There ain't nothing in there. Ain't no more bitch in a box. Ain't no more Jack either.